What's up, everybody? It's Erin.
And Nicole. This is Dude That's Fucked Up.
Welcome.
Welcome. Lincoln at Bernie's. Yeah, we're putting that in the fucking episode because that's the title. Usually we don't have one yet, but Erin is a creative genius. And it's so good. And we're just going to shout it from the rooftops.
It's so dumb, and all will be revealed momentarily as to what that even means. So
I can already see a T-shirt, and Benny Franks is one of the guys holding Lincoln up, right?
It's like Benny Franks, Sasquatch,
and Lincoln at Bernie's.
Lincoln at Bernie's. Oh my God, you guys, what a show we have for you today!
Oh.
But before we get into all the silliness, do we have any business?
No, I don't think so.
Tight. All right.
Yeah. Visit our Patreon, I guess. That's like our business.
It's always our business. That's
it's always our business. Yeah.
We have so much content on there from the past few years. Every month we do a Q&A, which devolves into a fuck, marry, kill, or would you rather, usually. And then we also do...
And by devolves, we mean it elevates to that.
Yeah. And we usually talk about fucking, marrying, or killing serial characters. So, it's like that kind of vibe. That's the $5 level. $10 level is the bonus episode, and the $15 level is the commentary episode. So, like, a bonus episode is like when we do a little dovetail off of an existing episode that we've done on
or
the
something
podcast.
completely random.
Or something completely random that we're like, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then commentary episodes are when we watch something
in the pop culture lexicon, current event.
Yeah, whatever's in the discourse of the day.
Yeah.
So
So patreon.com/DTFU podcast.
So
check
that's
it out.
The business.
Yeah, it's the biz.
Do you have anything fucked up this week?
Oh my God. Tell
me everything.
I said I'm frazzled. I was like running late. I had to put makeup on because I didn't wear any all day. Because I was just like out running errands. So today's like weird thing of the day. Like, my dad was a treasure, and so many things have been funny that I've discovered, or sweet, or like every day is an emotional roller coaster. And then also he had guns. So
yeah. You kept like texting me. You're like, when you were like cleaning off his boat, you're like, I found another gun.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like,
but honestly, way less than me and my brother thought we would find. Like, my brother was like, I thought there would be more guns. And I was like, 100%. But I think he just sold them over the years. Like, it's hard moving that stuff and like keeping up with it. And so,
oh my God.
So over the course of the last 2 months, I've been asking people questions that would know about guns. I have a cousin who is in law enforcement in another state. He didn't like exactly know our state laws, but like gave me some interesting advice. Then I also, when one of my dad's boats got stolen, which I don't think I've talked about yet, and I had to go.
Fucking wild.
We could probably just do an episode on like everything that has transpired, but like also maybe that's bonus content. Who knows? Yeah. You can ask me anything, but also it's like, we're talking about this stuff all the time. I don't know if it's interesting to everyone listening, but anyway, I'm getting to this. Okay, yes. So a boat got stolen. So I was at the police station filing a report for that, and while I was there, I was like, I have a question for you, legal officer person. They were a police officer. I was like, let's say I found guns on my dad's boat.
Plural.
Yeah. What would happen? Like, I am scared. I don't want to do anything with them. Honestly, we just left them on the boat until today. They were just on the boat. And like, I hadn't even checked to see if they're loaded. We like found them. I like put them somewhere hidden and like just didn't want to touch it. Even like to the point where I was like, oh my God, like panicking. What if someone breaks in and steals the guns? Because like they're probably registered to my dad and that's scary. And my brother goes, that's why I didn't touch them. And I was like, why'd you let me touch them?
Your fingerprints are all over everything.
He's like, your prints are all over those. I was like, oh no, like it's fine. They were safe until today. And so
today.
Yeah. And so we're like showing one of the boats to sell it tomorrow. I have some like Craigslist people coming. That's its own whole fucking wild, dumb, shitty, interesting, hilarious thing. But I was like, well, we probably shouldn't have guns on the boat when the people from Craigslist come look at it.
No, you should definitely display them. Like,
I should just be holding it when they come on the boat. Do you
like,
want
hello?
it or not? Yeah. Cash only. Thank you. Fake check? No, thank you.
Yeah. I'll just kill you. So
yeah. And so today I was panicking because I had a bunch of stuff to do and like I knew we were recording tonight and I was like, but I have to get these fucking guns off the boat in a safe, legal way that's not like a movie way or something.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
yeah, so I had like an appointment this morning regarding the stolen boat. And then I went over to the other boat and I was like on my way and I called a police department. I won't say which one.
Because your dad lived on a houseboat and then he had a putt-putt boat to get around.
So he left us
bay.
2 boats, yes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that we are trying to get rid of. Because they're very expensive and we don't know anything about boats. So
get them out of here.
Get them out of here. And so so I'm going back to the one he lived on where the guns were, and I called a police department and I was like, hi, I was told that, I found these firearms and I was told that they would, if I call you guys, you'd come and meet me and you would be able to like see if they're registered and take possession of them and if they're not, and I don't want to be like in trouble with these things. And so this woman was like, one of the officers was like, yes, let me take your information, call me when you're there. And like I was almost to the boat because I was at my mom's house, so it's like 40-minute drive to where my dad lived. And I was like, okay, almost there. Someone called me. It was like one of the sergeants and he was like, hey, so yeah, I can come meet you. Are you almost there? And I'll just like take the guns from you and that's that. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily want you to just take them. I want to know if they're registered. I want to know if I can take possession of them because like 2 of them are like antiques types.
Yeah.
Not antiques, but like they've been in my family and they're cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't want to get rid of these yet. But one of them is just like, I don't even know, some sort of rifle shotgun thing. I don't know.
And you're like, I don't even have ammunition for them. Probably. Like, yeah. Well,
Legally, no. I probably don't. I probably didn't find a huge fucking box of just loose ammunition.
Jesus Christ. Dad.
And so, my dad. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so, so I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, if you want to keep them, you can. They can be passed down to you if they're registered. Like, and even if they're not, there's like ways to get it registered to you, like because you received it from a family member and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So he like gave me the number of a place to call, which I did. It is no longer in business. And this was like a long conversation. He was like gone for a long time trying to find the number to this place that no longer exists, which I thought was a funny little wrinkle in that. And so by this time it's like probably like 3 p.m. or something.
Are you physically in this man's presence?
No.
No.
I'm pulled over in the middle of, it's kind of like middle of nowhere off the freeway on my way to my dad's boat with a bunch of semi trucks like pulled over because they're all like eating lunch and I'm just like sandwiched in between a bunch of semi trucks and just like having this like 30-minute mostly on hold conversation. So anyway, I've heard like so many different things. So finally I call like a store. It's like an outdoors store, like it's like Cabela's or something like that. But again, I don't want to say the name. And the manager was like so helpful. It was like, you can absolutely bring them in. We have paperwork you can fill out here. We sell things here. You can like sell one on consignment if you want. Like,
Wow.
amazing. But you have to bring them in unloaded. And I was like, oh no, like,
I'm scared.
I'm scared. And I was by myself. And I'm like, what? How do I know? Like, I was like, my dad taught me about guns. So I like know about certain ones, but like I don't know these ones, and like these aren't the ones he had when I was a kid, and like like I just it was like very stressful, and I was like, and it's like scary, and he was like, I know, it's okay,
Aww.
like you can. I was like, do I Google it? He's like, yes, Google it, which I did. It was so easy. I like, so it says the name of it on one of them. I Googled the name of it, and a guy made a video, showed me exactly how to like check it out. I did it. Great. Like as I'm doing it, I'm remembering. Then the other two smaller, like older ones, I'm like, oh, I remember how to do this. Like how to spin the little thing. They're like little pistol things. And so, I did it. I was so proud of myself. I fucking put them in my car. I drove to this store. I walk them in. I'm like, walking in with a box. They're like, do you have guns? And I was like, yeah.
I have the guns. Here they are.
Hey, you guys this is a gun place, right? I got guns for you. And so they have to like check you in and stuff, and they double check that they're not loaded. And the guy like opened the little box with the 2 handguns, and it was like, whoa. And I was like, I knew these were cool, but like, it was nice to get the validation. And then while I'm there, I just got so much probably bad advice about like things I could or couldn't do. Like, you didn't hear it from me, but like if you sold ammunition, and I was like, oh no. And there was weird advice being given to like brothers that had come in, because you can't pass a firearm brother to brother. It has to go like parent to child or child to parent.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and so these brothers were in there, and they're like, yeah, we want to transfer possession, and like we need to take a test and pay this fee. And they're like, he was like, how are you related? And they were like, oh, we're brothers. He's like, give it to your dad and have your dad give it to him. You don't have to do anything. And I was like, these fucking loopholes are insane here. Anyway, that's all to say, what a day. Gun stuff is weird. It's also very scary. And my day was very long, and dealing with some of this weird shit
that you've literally never dealt with in your life. That's just so bizarre that it's out of the realm of any kind of comfort zone. Yeah,
literally everything I'm doing at this point. I've had several meltdowns. Yesterday I told Pete I'm at my breaking point. This is it. Like, but I think it's because I'm getting very uncomfortable with all of my emotions, and like, this is all dad stuff. Like, I want to call my dad. He would have the answer to all of these things immediately. It would not be a problem. Everything boat related. Like, the fact that I'm showing people a boat tomorrow to try and sell it, I know nothing about it. I feel so uncomfortable. Also, it was my dad's. I'm just like having all of these emotions, and it's like so exhausting.
It's a lot.
And there's gun stuff. Like, it's like also it's like heightened, because also it's like, oh, you're not just like selling something that's like a weird family heirloom. It's like, oh, and also guns. And I'm like, oh, no.
It's like a very high. I mean, the same thing. It's not the same thing, but like boats are an entity of their own that are just so.
There's boat people.
Yeah, it's just This is all just a lot. So
it's conversation. It's conversation and conversation that like I need my dad for, and he's not here, and it's such a bummer. And I just am like constantly fluctuating between like probably very stressed out and frustrated and like very emotional.
Yes, of course. I mean, fucking goddamn, I can't even imagine. That is.
I know.
Oh dear. Well, I'm glad that you got the guns straightened out at least.
Ish.
Right? Sort of.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's ongoing. I just really want to make sure I'm not doing anything illegal, or it's scary. Like, this is like some weird shit. And I've never felt, and this is not a flex, but I've never felt more like a white lady today, where it was like every loophole was being like shown to me. And I walked out, and I was just like, this would have been so different like for so many different people.
Oh, yes.
Like, and how much scarier that would be for them. And I just was like, oh man, this is all so fucked up. And just the fact that there are so many loopholes, and it's like just treated kind of like
no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah. Oh yeah, just like transfer it to him and then transfer it over to you, and easy, and you don't have to do anything, and you don't have to take this test or whatever. You don't have to pay these fees or whatever. It's like it is legal, but it's like it seems. Why do we don't need to do that? Just take the fucking test and pay the $20. Like,
it's
keep it on the up and up. You know, you don't need to fuck around.
There's too many, because there's nothing straightforward about guns. Like there's just going to be so much fuckery around it. So
it is top tier fuckery.
Top tier fuckery. My God. Well,
oh my God. Anyway, sorry. Obviously, I have so much pent up energy around it.
No, I
had to get it out.
It's very nervy stuff that you were dealing with today.
Yeah, it was
cops
the thing.
And guns and boats and
I know the guns were like last on my list too. You know, it was kind of like, okay, this is like something I don't want to deal with. Yeah, and then it's like I just fucking had to. And it was like, ugh.
It's just like such a, foreign world.
Yeah.
So, makes sense, man. Oh, man.
I know. Oh, God. How's your week been? What's your fucked up of the week?
I don't really personally have anything.
No guns?
No guns over here. No. Just,
you don't find any guns?
Can you imagine just like stumbling upon
oh my God,
guns?
In your house, just like the owners left it there?
Oh, God. It's like I have a friend who moved into a house and they checked the attic and there was just a box of dildos up in the attic.
No.
Yeah.
Brand new, like in packages, or just like that was their fun time box for attic stuff?
It was a fun time box that they just clearly forgot about and didn't bring with them in the move. So they left it in the attic, and our friends found it, and they were just like, this is great for photo ops. So
yeah, as long as you run them through the dishwasher. But also, like, what is the shame? Like, what sort of shame have we cultivated in this country that you have to hide all your sexy stuff up in the attic?
I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it was like, I wonder if, it was just like a lot of them and like various kinds. So
yeah, who
knows?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but what a discovery,
Yeah, that's a fun discovery.
Like, what if you had just found a ton of dildos on your dad's boat?
Oh my God. Luckily, I haven't found much weird stuff.
Yeah. I've
found a few things that like were his from when he was young and stuff, and it's like funny or kind of sexual or whatever, and it's kind of like a little glimpse into him as a person, but like luckily he was not like from what I can tell, knock on wood.
Yeah. Kept
like
it all.
He didn't have multiple boxes of dildos hidden anywhere. But I haven't searched the whole boat. That's going to happen tomorrow with the Craigslist people. So we might find something in some of these, like, little bilge areas and, like, engine compartments. There might be some secret shit in there.
You never know.
And it'll be the journey of me and the Craigslist people.
That's right.
It'll be like it'll be something that, like, bonds us for life.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Good. Oh, man. Well, I have nothing fucked up. So I think it's safe to say I'm going to use the guns as a, kind of like a little bit of a jumping off point into our segue here.
To shoot us into the topic.
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah. It has nothing to do with guns, but like has to do with being an American.
Yeah.
And
there's some guns.
Yeah, there's
gunplay.
There's some guns, yeah. In this story. So we just celebrated America's Independence Day. And our last episode before this one was the very American topic of over-the-top fast food secret menus. So we just thought we'd stick with the American ridiculousness and tell you about an old-timey heist that was equal parts stupid and dumb and had to do with a American president. A dead American president at that. Yeah. So without further ado, we are talking about the time that Lincoln's body was almost stolen from his tomb.
Oh, AKA Lincoln at Bernie's.
Lincoln at Bernie's. Here we go. Okay.
Wow, wow. Or whatever. Like,
Oh, yeah. Whatever this, like.
some 80s song. Like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So we all know that President Lincoln was sadly successfully assassinated on April 15th of 1865. Bummer.
In the head.
Right. He was assassinated in the head, like I've established many episodes
So
ago.
several times.
Yeah. He was laid to rest in Illinois, where a tomb was built for him in Springfield. And, you know, I always thought that was it. Like, he died, laid to rest. He's end of story. The nation mourns, shocked, sad, and everybody's sad about it except for all the Southern racists. But and then the fallout from his assassination was that the conspirators who, you know, made the assassination happen got arrested, and that's it.
Yeah.
I thought that was the end of the story, but my dudes, that was absolutely not it. Did you know that there wasn't just this assassination? There was a stupider. There was like a whole plot to kill him, you know?
Yeah.
But there was later a stupider and more very unsuccessful plot to steal his dead body. I did not know this, and I can't believe it's a real thing. And
the only reason we knew about this is because when I was in Alaska, there was a trivia question about this person. One of the people.
One of the quote masterminds of this plot.
Quote.
and just to be clear, we're not talking about a freshly dead body here. We're not talking about like
no.
He just got buried and they're gonna dig up his body and take it. We're talking very long dead, like moldy, stank skeleton dead.
Yeah, like decomposed.
It was
which is worse though. Which one is worse? Like you said, not fresh dead, but I feel like.
Well, I try to think of the like. I don't even know. I don't know what these people were thinking. Yeah, I think it's probably worse to. I don't know. I think if you're a professional grave robber, you're not trying to like take the dead body out of the coffin. You take the whole coffin or whatever.
Yeah.
You're trying
and you
to keep
take
it in the
early
container.
to sell it to like medicine or something.
Yeah. Because at this time, during the time that this insane plot was hatched, grave robbing and body snatching was like a hugely profitable crime.
Yeah. It was a business.
It was a business. It was like it was a very, very bad business. But people did this all the time because it was really a quick, easy way, I guess, to make a buck if you sold it to unscrupulous med students or whatever.
Yeah.
Or on the black market where it would be taken to a hospital for, you know, to be experimented on or whatever. So,
or like a cosmetology school.
Yeah, something like that. Who knows?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
That would be terrible.
Terrible. Yeah, so we're talking though this body was 11 damn years old. This is 11 years after Lincoln was entombed. So this crime happened on November 7th, 1876. So several thieves attempted to break in and steal his body. And this is according to the U.S. Secret Service. This is like a known thing that happened. This is not just some throwaway story. This really did happen. So
yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So a gunshot startled the thieves inside the tomb. They ran off and escaped. Spoiler alert, they did not get Lincoln's body and they were caught 11 days later.
Oh.
So that's like the whole breakdown, but we're going to go into some detail here. Yeah. And the reason that these guys were probably extremely bad at masterminding this crime and also failed in the execution of the actual dumb crime is because they weren't even grave robbers. The guys that did this whole thing were counterfeiters. So
this is truly just like one of those drunk ideas that like a group of friends comes up with. Like it truly is Weekend at Bernie's. It's like we need to
we need to make a buck.
Yeah, we need to make a buck. We need to impress some ladies. We need to, get some beer money. So we're going to do this wild thing. And it's like, yeah. And then it's just like everybody telling you it's a good idea. And then the next day when everyone's sober, no one wants to back out.
Yeah, they're like, oh, God. Fuck.
Yeah. Remember we said, or there's like one ringleader person or like whatever that's like, remember last night when we said we were going to do this thing? And then everyone's like, oh,
and they're stoked because it was like their original idea and they just like want to keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Well,
or they just hate to be alone with their thoughts.
That's true. Or that.
Men will seriously steal a fucking whole corpse body of an ex-president and they will try and sell it just to not go to therapy.
That's right. And, I say this prayer often.
Yeah.
But please, God, give me the confidence of a man, specifically these men who have the audacity, the lack of job experience, lack of morals and values, and general disregard for reality and the law to pursue such a batshit crazy idea with the gusto that they did.
Wow.
Just wow. I do think there was some alcohol involved, to be honest.
There must. Or drugs or something.
Okay, so my biggest question in, just thinking about this whole plan, quote unquote, of this whole plot is why and what could possibly be the motivation for some dudes to steal a literal dead president? Like, did they take the term dead presidents as in money? But they were like, oh no, let's like be super meta and then just like steal a whole dead president. Or
were they like trying to buy, like they were trying to like buy some drugs or something and they're like, we only take dead presidents or whatever, and they're like, what? Okay, God, shit. I guess there's Lincoln. He's just in Illinois.
Yeah. Great. Let's go get him. Yeah.
He's in fucking Springfield in the middle of a fucking park or whatever. Let's just go there.
I mean, no, that was not the main motivation, but like also what was it? I don't know. I still don't really know after all this. But
it's extortion. Because they wanted to steal it and then basically be like, hey, United States government, we have your dead president.
We're going to get to that. So this whole idea, this whole plot.
Yeah.
Even reading this, even what I'm about to explain to you, it's still very hard. So this whole idea, quote unquote, can be traced to the arrest of a man named Benjamin Boyd. Benjamin Boyd was a counterfeiter who worked for a small-time crime boss named James Big Jim Canali in the Midwest. Counterfeiting at this time was a very, very big deal. After the Civil War, I think there is something, the number is something crazy, like, because there was two different Americas at this time. And the way money was circulated was they like circulated it in the South. They had their own money because they were like trying to be their own nation, basically. Yeah. And then the North had their own shit. But at the time, after the Civil War, nearly 1/3 of all American currency was counterfeit.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's a stat, I think.
Because it was probably just like, you know how when you drew money for playing when you were a kid, the money just probably had like someone just, cut out a square and took a pencil and was like 5 cents or whatever.
Well,
and it's like,
well, the U.S. Treasury had, plates and like official, they had like, it was very, commerce and the Treasury had been up and running before the Civil War happened. But during and after the Civil War, shit got all cattywampus, basically, because of, everything.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So counterfeiters were out here and they were doing some serious work. This was, along with grave robbing, one of the hot crimes in America, if you can believe it. They were like the hottest crimes.
Wow, it's so like traditional crime. It's so like crime couture or something. It's like
it's very American, honestly.
It's very American. It's very like timeless, I feel like. Counterfeiting, grave robbing. you know.
I mean, there is an expertise to these things. Like the counterfeiting then, it was not just like drawing a fucking 5 on a piece of paper. It was like serious, like they had their own plates. It was art. They did some serious shit. So this guy, Benjamin Boyd, for example, he was one of the best counterfeiters probably in the world, it was thought.
Wow.
And James Big Jim Canali was employing this man. He was a small-time criminal sort of, but he was starting to get a little bit bigger because his counterfeiting scam that he was running was starting to make some big money because of
LOL.
Big money, big money. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
Oh my God. His counterfeiting business was starting to make some big money. That is
Real big money.
My dad would have made that joke.
Truly. Yeah. Exactly. It's a Philip joke for sure.
It's a Philip joke, yeah.
So Benjamin Boyd, like, he's out here doing some serious shit, but his passion, like, I think he was like counterfeiting like money for different countries, like in France and shit. Like he was like bopping all over, doing all kinds of crazy shit. So, but his passion was, and his art was American cash. And he had plates that were so good, so close to like being exactly perfect, close. Like the technology he had was like matching what the U.S. Treasury had.
Yeah. Which was still just printing at that point, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, we still print money.
Yeah, but there are a lot of things to check for in money now to make sure it's legit.
Well, this is why, because counterfeiting gets so sophisticated.
Yeah.
This guy was the tippy top of that sophisticated at that time, you know, in that fucking tier. So he was like basically competing with the Treasury. And so they were putting this money into circulation, and people couldn't tell, like even experts couldn't tell the difference between Boyd's money and the Treasury's money.
So it was money. Like, if no one can tell the difference, are you counterfeiting? Is this a philosophical question? I feel like if no one can tell the differess, it's real money.
Honestly, money is made up anyway. Again, so.
Yeah. But is there a crime here?
The actual fallout of all this counterfeiting, not just with Boyd, but in general, was that it was destabilizing the entire American economy. So shit had to be done. And this is the reason the Secret Service was created. The Secret Service started out as a protection against counterfeiting, basically. They were installed to protect the Treasury after the Civil War. So they have this job to basically crack down on all these counterfeiters, and they have all these experts out here in the streets checking to find counterfeit money. So that was like their number one job. They were not the Secret Service as we know them now.
Yeah.
So the Treasury Department and the Secret Service were like, we don't like this Boyd guy. Let's get him. We know who he is. We found him. Let's arrest him. They tracked him down, busted him on October 20th, 1875, and they threw his ass in jail and confiscated all his plates. So he is out of circulation.
Hey. October 20th, my dad's birthday.
Wow.
He's just everywhere today.
Oh my God. I love it.
Not 1875 though.
No. Who's to say he might be a time traveler?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll see him again at some point.
You never know.
We can only hope.
Yeah. So yeah, Big Jim, his employer, Boyd's employer, was like, fuck, because Boyd was his number one guy, and all his cash flow came from basically him. Like that was where the money was coming in.
Yeah.
And I just because
he was making it.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah. Why do you need real money when you have fucking fake almost perfect money that is identical to the Treasury money. But honestly, this guy was just so bad at his job. He really needed to diversify, in my opinion. Like, he should have done it early on. Like, while the like fresh fake money was out there, he could have been, you know, investing in putting it in circulation in different ways. I don't know. He put all his eggs in one basket is what I'm saying. And I think my assessment of this man's intelligence is going to keep being proven as we go here.
Oh my goodness. Wait, of Big Jim's?
Of Big Jim's, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this is rude, but I don't know. You know, when your boss's name is Big Jim, there's just something about that
and you're out here doing fucking art. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'd be pissed.
This is rude. Has anyone smart ever been named Big Jim?
I feel like this man gave himself that nickname. He's that kind of guy. You know?
Yeah. He's like, call me Big Jim, but if you're
compensating.
Yeah.
So.
Slim Shady if you're nasty. Or whatever. It's just like, what? You can't just give yourself a nickname, sir.
I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did. You're right.
Yeah, so this guy, Big Jim, needed a plan to get some cash flow. He needed cash now because there was no goddamn J.G. Wentworth back then.
I thought that sounded familiar.
He needed cash now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there was a J.G. Wentworth. I mean, that's like a pretty old-timey name.
That's when he was real.
Yeah, maybe that's where this came from. But
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't like the predatory loan kind of situation. So
yeah, it wasn't like what 1-800 cash now or like whatever those like check cashing places are. Like people needed them then, but they didn't exist yet because we didn't have strip malls yet.
No, Big Jim needed big money because his guy was in jail. And so he really brainstormed and came up with the grand plan.
He brain drizzled. Let's be honest.
Oh my God, he drizzled. Yeah, it's not great. Not great, Big Jim. Not great. So he came up with this plan to steal Lincoln's body and bury it in the Indiana dunes, then ransom it for $200,000 and Boyd's pardon and freedom. He wanted all this shit just for stealing Lincoln's body. And I just don't understand why the fuck Big Jim thought the United States government would ever be like, oh, yes, here is all of your money you asked for, $200,000, right? No problem. Like, we're totally cool with this. We're going to get your guy out of jail, too, who is currently serving 10 years for being the greatest counterfeiter in the world. And we're just going to release him back out on the street so he can keep making fake money. No problem, Big Jim. Got you.
Yeah. Big Jim, did you say it was?
Yeah. Oh, Big Jim. Monsieur Grand Jean. Shut up.
Monsieur Grand Jean. Oh, my God. Yeah.
It's your $200,000. No questions asked. Just give us back Lincoln's body. No problem.
Okay, this is what I think of literally anytime anyone holds anyone or anything for ransom. It's like, this isn't gonna go well. You've already put yourself out there, and it's like, yes, I understand. Like when we were doing DB Cooper and stuff, it's like he knew he was gonna jump out of a plane, but we talked about some other people, you know, that like got caught, and it's like, yeah, because you hijacked a plane, waited on it for your money, and then tried to hail a cab in front of the airport. Like, what?
I mean, the only way it works nowadays is how like hackers do it with the like, you know,
the dark web.
Yeah, getting like fucking Bitcoin and shit from. Yeah, I don't know.
Cryptocurrency
on
the dark web.
On the dark web, yeah.
Like, secretive.
That's the only
There's
way
no
it works
big
now.
gyms on the dark web, okay?
No,
there's none. Not a one.
Oh Lord, yeah. So yeah, this thought process could not have been more than several moments.
This is a first draft plan.
No, this isn't even a first draft. This is like a fucking sketch.
A doodle. Yeah.
A doodle.
This is like people are talking. Big Jim's supposed to be paying attention. He's kind of doodling. And then they all get drunk. And then the next day he goes, oh, that was a good idea, I think. And everyone goes, was it?
What? Well, it didn't really. Nobody else wrote down anything. So Big Jim.
Yeah, true. And he's like, I'm in charge anyway, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Big Jim. Yeah.
Exactly. So he, I really think it was what the thought process was like. This is like the only thing I can think that that makes sense to me. Is that he was thinking, okay, what's the other hot crime that is popping right now in America?
Yeah.
I'm already doing. He's not even the one doing the counterfeiting. He's just
No.
running the operation.
Yeah.
But he's like, counterfeiting, we already got. But grave robbing and body snatching, that's hot right now. I love that. Let's do that.
We got to
Let's
corner
do
the
that
market.
we got to do it. Let's get in there. But for real though,
Yeah.
like that was the second hot crime. It was so ubiquitous throughout the country of people just stealing bodies constantly. So
It's like how Starbucks only had coffee for a long time, and then they're like, we should also have breakfast food. They'll get in, like, you have to cover all your bases.
and they did it sort of.
They did it. Yeah, it's not that successful. I eat it, but
I used to eat it almost every day when I worked across the street from a Starbucks. So who am I to judge?
I know. I love it. I really love it.
So Big Jim puts together a crack team of non-specialists and they get to work planning out this body snatching. So it's the team of expert grave robbers. They weren't expert grave robbers. These guys were just regular criminals.
Novice.
They didn't know shit about.
They're beginner grave robbers. Let's be honest.
They are nascent body snatchers. No, they didn't know shit about body snatching or grave robbing.
No.
But the initial team consisted of a man named Terrence Mullen, who is a saloon keeper, and Jack Hughes, who is a nickel counterfeiter type. So Jack Hughes was like a big guy, and he was the muscle of the group.
Yeah.
And then
You have to be to carry all those fake nickels.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, if anybody should have been named Big anything, it probably should have been
Jack
Big Jack
Hughes.
Hughes.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also thinking like, what is like when they sit down and they're like, okay, body snatching, what do you think we need? It's like, I don't know. I feel like a body and we just snatch it, right? And it's like, yeah. I mean,
We just go in and grab it. It's just sitting there. It's in a tomb.
yeah.
Right? We just like pick up the coffin and go.
It's pretty straightforward. Listen, I counterfeit nickels. I don't know if anyone here has done that. It's actually really hard. So like this sounds really easy actually.
Yeah, totally not a big deal. I got this. So Jack Hughes was the muscle, and then Terrence Mullen, who is also a close friend of Big Jim, was going to be the on-site brains because, first of all, Big Jim wasn't even there to do any of this fucking crime. He was just like telling everybody what to do, which
Oh God, he's like middle management or something.
totally.
It's like,
oh my God.
God.
No, Terrence was the middle management, honestly.
Yeah.
So he was considered the on-site brains. Okay,
Yeah.
Terrence, calm down. But once Terrence started using that big fucking brain of his, he realized they needed a grave robbing expert because they were like starting to sketch out what they needed to do, and they're looking at each other and they're like, I don't know, what like, do we need like a are we gonna take the body out of the coffin? Like, you know, they're like going through all these scenarios and they have no fucking clue. So they decide, all right, we need to bring an expert in. We need a grave robber, you know, an actual grave robber to come and help us out with this job.
I'm truly so disappointed. Like the fact that they didn't even try once on their own. You know, it's like, well, or am I impressed? On the one hand, I'm disappointed. It's like, really, do you need anything? I mean, it's you go in the middle of the night. I think I could plot this out pretty successfully, potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their whole, again, this whole thing isn't even really a plan. It is simply
just
a brain fart that has been wiped up, a brain shart, if you will, that had been, diarrheaed onto a napkin in a bar. So is what I am envisioning. So they get this guy. His name is Louis Swaggles. Mm-hmm. Or Sweagles. I want his last name to rhyme with Kegels. So
Sweagles, okay.
Yeah. So they bring this guy in who is supposed to be a seasoned grave robber to help them out. And they could not have made a worse choice in another member of their team, because this guy, Sweagles, was a paid informant, what they called then a, quote, roper of the Secret Service. It's just too good. I mean, every turn.
Again, this is why I already feel smarter than these guys, because it's like I wouldn't have involved anyone else. And that's where I would have succeeded more so than them. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, you probably would have, because
I probably would have, yeah.
They now had an informant in their midst. And yeah, sure. The whole time I'm envisioning Lincoln's tomb, I'm thinking, weren't there guards everywhere? Weren't there, what was this, like a high traffic area?
Tourists.
I mean, it might have been when he first died and, was in the tomb.
Yeah.
But 11 years later, actually, there was no guards there. There was nothing. There was like a single padlock on the tomb, and there was no security though. So maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was like kind of an easy thing to rob. Maybe it was an easy target since there were no guards. But again, what about the rest of the fucking plan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, did they even know what they like? Yeah,
they cased it a few times, like as tourists, quote unquote, as tourists.
Good for that. Wow, that's I'm impressed.
Yeah, but it still didn't really help them out in the end, as we'll find out in a moment.
Fair.
So meanwhile, Swaggles, whatever, played his part as the double agent he was very well. He would report every detail of the dumbass plot to his boss, who is Patrick D. Tyrell, who at the time was the chief of the Chicago District Office of the Secret Service.
Wow.
So he feeds all the information, and the whole plot's coming together. And on the night that Sweagles accompanied Mullen and Hughes to the cemetery where Lincoln's tomb was, Tyrell and his Secret Service agents were right there, lying in wait, ready to ambush them. And so,
Lincoln at Bernie style.
So they're they're like in the shadows waiting for them to like commit the crime. Obviously, they have to wait for them to
you have to witness
break
it.
In.
Yep.
Have to witness it. So Mullen and Hughes, even though they're career criminals, they could not pick a lock.
What were they good for?
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know.
Not even counterfeiting, right?
Well, I mean,
they're like the bottom. They're like not as good as
Boyd. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say Bobby B, but I don't think his first name was Bobby. No, but it was Benjamin Boyd.
I almost said
Benny B.
Brandon Boyd. I don't know. Benjamin B. Yeah.
From Incubus. Yeah.
Benny B.
Benny B.
Benny B. Benny B.
Benny B.
Oh my God. So these motherfuckers could not even pick the single lock that was padlocked on the outside of the fucking thing. So they had to file it.
Oh my God.
File through it. It's just too good. And then once they were inside the tomb, inside the chamber where Lincoln's coffin was, they found that they couldn't even lift up the coffin because it was a 500-pound cedar and lead coffin.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, I can't even.
Because, like, he was a president of the United States. They're not putting him in some fucking rinky-dink, bottom-of-the-line coffin.
Yeah.
They're giving him... I mean, they've built a whole tomb in a park for this man as a memorial.
Yeah. These guys just did not know what
Yeah.
the fuck. And so then they're like, so are we going to, like, take him out of the coffin then? Or what are we going to do? So they're inside the tomb, dithering around, trying to figure out what they're going to do, when suddenly one of the detectives' guns, that's like one of the detectives, one of the Secret Service detectives outside of the tomb, their gun goes off. And it startles them. And they realize, oh, fuck, we got to get, like, we're being ambushed or whatever. And then they run away. And they get away for a few days. But they're stupid. Again, we know this. And they go straight back to their saloon in Chicago.
Oh, God.
Where, like, what's his name? The one that Jack Hughes owns.
Yeah.
And they, like, lay low there, but that's, like, exactly where you would go. I don't know. So it wasn't much of a hideout. God. So Tyrell, the Secret Service chief, Chicago chief of the Chicago office, immediately finds them a few days later.
Yeah. He's like, this is the place you own that you came back to? Great. Yeah.
He literally, like, knows everything about these guys because of the informant that he had on the inside, and is like, okay, got his name where his saloon is. Great.
Well, he'll be there tomorrow. Yeah. I read, and I don't know if this is true, but let me know if you read this, that the detective's gun went off, and then it was like dark, and they were like shooting at each other.
Yeah, they were also stupid.
Yeah, so. It is all in all, like, no one's any smarter than anyone else in this whole thing, except the guy that's in jail, because he actually did a good job at what he was doing.
And he's just like, wow, you guys are stupid the whole time he's in jail. Like, oh, that's really cute and nice of you to, like, try to get me out of jail, but, like...
Could you imagine the disappointment? Like, every weekend they're coming, like, during visiting hours, and they're like, okay, and here's the next part of our plan. And every time he's just more and more just like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, he's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, cool, I'm in here till the end.
I'm just in here for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so these guys get caught, obviously. But meanwhile, back in Springfield, they're caught in Chicago, but meanwhile, back in Springfield, where the tomb is, the custodian of the tomb, the guy who, like, he's not the security guard, but he's the one that, like, keeps the tomb. Caretaker. He's the caretaker, yeah.
Yeah.
His name is John Carroll Power, and he was absolutely shook that this happened. He reasoned that if a few morons could come this close to carrying off Lincoln's body, then like, what would, once real grave robbers found out about this, like, you know, the fact that it could happen, and it was, like, actually pretty easy to get into the tomb itself. Like, he was like, all right, I gotta do something about this. So
good for him.
Yeah. So he, because at this time, like I said, grave robbing people were about that life, and once a major grave robber found out about this, easy mark, they were gonna come get him. So
also, I mean, it's just exposing a hole. Like, it's like how with DB Cooper's episode, we talked about, like, hijackings and how there was so many in, like, a short period of time. It's because, the first person exposed the blind spots, and then people were able to take advantage. That's exactly what this would be. You know, it's like, except people who were more qualified could come in and, like, finish the job, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Big Steve or whoever.
Yeah. Diggin' Dan would come in and get it. I don't know.
Diggin' Doug.
Dig Doug. Okay. So
Grave Gabriel.
Hey, I like it.
Shoveling Cheryl. A lady. She's the first in the business. She was the first female grave robber. Yeah, no one would. Shovelin' Cheryl, she would come in and she would just take over.
Shovelin' Schmitty. I don't know.
Shovelin' Schmitty. Yep.
So this guy, the John Carroll Power, the only thing he could think to do to keep President Lincoln's body safe was to hide the body, like to hide Lincoln's body. So one night,
That was the only thing.
I know, right?
Everyone is so
But
wrong.
but he didn't want anybody to know like what he was doing, because it's like the more people that know, the more people who know unscrupulous people, whatever.
Right, true.
So this guy got 5 of his very close friends to gather Lincoln up and bury him in a shallow, unmarked grave in the tomb's basement. So this thing, it's like a mausoleum, it's like
yeah.
it's like a a structure
Yeah.
that had a basement.
Yeah. It's its own mansion on the beach, Lincoln at Bernie's.
So the guys that buried the coffin that night in the basement of the tomb didn't know Lincoln. They were just good friends of John Carroll Power. I mean, everybody knew who Lincoln was, but they didn't like personally know him. You know what I'm saying?
But like 11 years later, what's there to know of a corpse?
Sure.
Like
I don't
this
know.
is a skeleton at this time, right? Like it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. One guy, they're just normal dudes though, is what I'm saying. They're just they're not called upon by, they're not the Secret Service is what I'm saying. They're just
they're not in the know. They're not told what's going on. They're just like, show up, you'll get $20 and a sandwich.
They just did this out of the true like goodness of their heart, because they did not want Lincoln's body to be stolen.
Oh, I thought you were saying they didn't know Lincoln. Like they didn't know what they were doing that night. Like
no,
Lincoln, haven't heard of him. Like
no, they did it. They just were doing. They were just good, noble guys. Is what I'm saying.
They took the call.
They took the call and they did it.
Yeah.
So these guys felt it was their job to like safeguard the remains of a president who at that time, after he was working his way up to being like lionized as he is kind of today. So still today he was martyred basically. So this was like very sacred work for them. And they kept him there and kept the secret of where his body actually was secret for many years. Because they didn't want anybody to know. And they were finally told, they were relieved of their obligation basically in 1901 when under instructions from Robert Lincoln, who's President Lincoln's only surviving son, to be placed in a very secure, very specialized steel cage basically. Lowered into a 10-foot deep vault and then buried under tons of wet concrete, and that is still where Lincoln remains in his tomb in Oak Ridge Cemetery in Springfield, Illinois.
It's finally secured.
It's finally secure because it's under a shit ton of fucking concrete.
Oh my god! And in a steel cage. That's 10
feet. That's 10 feet down.
Yeah.
I think they went a little overboard, to be honest. Like
truly.
But,
well, it's being safe at that point, because also it's like, and I could see why it would be upsetting if you're like the son of this person who was a president. Anyone maybe would be like upset if their parents' like grave was robbed unsuccessful, and then you were just like storing them in the basement in an unmarked grave. Like,
yeah, but it was like they didn't really know what to do, because there was no, I don't know that
this is that's one of those things where it's like, it's above your pay grade. Go to the government, make them fucking deal with it. I can't. Everybody needs to like have realistic expectations of like, what is their job? What is their role? What are they paid to do? If you're not paid to do it, not your responsibility. Sorry.
Fair.
That's my motto.
Harsh but fair.
Yeah.
But you know what? Thank God for these guys, because I do believe that Lincoln's body would have probably been snatched.
I'm sure.
If they would not have hidden him and secreted his body away into the basement of the tomb without anybody knowing where he was. So
I wonder if other presidents' bodies have been snatched now. This is making me curious.
I don't know.
Maybe a bonus episode.
There has to be some famous people at least, like maybe not presidents per se, but like
People.
Famous people. Because I know like when Lincoln was assassinated, people were like ripping pieces of clothes off of him and shit.
God.
Like
people do weird shit.
People do weird shit. So
grief, man, it'll get you.
It's just like to be like I was there kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So Lincoln's body is totally secure now.
Wow.
You need not worry now at this point. But what another like point that came out of this is that as for the Secret Service, because of this whole foiled plot, basically, they were dealt kind of a cool hand where they were like, hey, maybe you should be doing more than just like, you know, cracking down on counterfeiting. Like maybe you should actually be protecting the president too. And so that's the beginning of the evolution, because at this time they were only 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
They were very, very new, a new agency.
And not what they would end up becoming. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like the beginning of their evolution into this like bodyguard-esque branch of the government that they are today. Or they're not a branch of the government, sorry. But you know, like
literal bodyguards.
They're literal bodyguards now for
Yeah.
our presidents now. And this is how it kind of started, was because of this foiled plot.
Yeah.
A stupidly foiled plot.
Well, it was a half plot. It was a shallow plot.
I mean, they did work. They had an informant. They got all the information, and they set up the trap.
Yeah, I mean the plot itself.
Yeah,
to steal Lincoln. Yeah, was very well thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very stupid. Very, very stupid. So that's the story, basically.
Wow. It is fascinating. Oh, it's so cool, too. Like, it's like, I never knew that Secret Service, this was like the impetus of their creation.
Isn't that cool?
Like, it's so cool. And like, until this point, or like, I wonder, I don't know how old the FBI is, but it seems like when they originated, they had more like an FBI role, like counterfeiting and, kind of like more logistical stuff. And then
everything was super rough and ready after the Civil War. Like we have to keep that in mind, like about how, all of this stems from counterfeiting. Yeah. Basically. Wow. Literally everything about this story stems from counterfeiting, because that was what was happening. That was just
the hot crime.
It was the hot crime after the Civil War. Yeah. So it's very interesting how, I mean, obviously there's like many more facets to the story, but that was like the big fucking impetus for all of this bullshit. It is the fount of what we know now, how the Treasury works now, how the Secret Service works now. Yeah, it's all very fascinating, and I love it.
It's so cool.
I love this story.
I loved it.
I loved how stupid it was.
Loved how stupid it was. Loved
and how far-reaching the implications of it were.
I know.
For all of its stupidity.
Ripples for decades.
It was like a fart in a fan factory, just like bopping around everywhere, all of the corners it got into.
Yeah, it's like you will never know where that came from.
Mm-hmm. But we do kind of now.
But we do. Yeah. Oh, great job. I loved it. Erin did all the work this week. Oh, bless her heart.
You were dealing with guns.
You were not dealing guns. No, I was dealing with. Yeah. It's I'm not a criminal as of right now, so that's great. But TBD to next week. I'll keep everyone posted. Cool. But yeah, I loved it. What a fun surprise! So many Easter eggs.
Such a treat. I know.
Such a treat.
I learned so much. Learned so much.
We all learned a lot.
Well. That's all that I got for this particular story of Big Jim and his dumb fucking his plot, his
dumb
plan.
Jim. Yeah.
Big dumb Jim.
Big dumb Jim. Oh gosh.
All right. Well, follow us on social media.
Yes, at DTFU Podcast, all the places, including TikTok, because we're young, we're fun.
That's maybe sort of true. Yes. Okay. And go to our website, dtfupodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Thanks for listening. And listen here. Be excellent to yourselves
And each other.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.